Imagine you have just 30 minutes, a mere 30 minutes to shape the next 30 years of your life. It sounds impossible, right? After all, how can half an hour impact 3 decades? But here's the catch. Time, in its true form, is made up of moments, and moments are what we shape. Think about the decisions you've made in the past, those small, seemingly insignificant choices that, looking back, changed everything. Maybe it was picking up that book you never thought you'd read, or starting a conversation that led to an unexpected opportunity. Maybe it was simply deciding to take a different route one morning and meeting someone who would later become a lifelong friend. Life doesn't require monumental shifts all at once. It's a collection of seemingly minor choices that compound over time. Now you've got these 30 minutes, and in these 30 minutes you can decide, where will your energy go? What's the next step you're willing to take toward becoming the person you want to be in the future? This isn't just about setting goals. It's about creating a mindset, a mentality of making decisions now that will continue to unfold in ways you may not fully understand yet. Consider how you spend your time today. Are you caught up in distractions, overwhelmed by the noise around you, or are you focusing on something that will bring real value to your life in the years ahead? The next 30 years won't simply happen to you. They'll unfold from the habits, the attitudes, the relationships, and the commitments you make now. The power of these 30 minutes lies in your awareness, in what you choose to focus on. Are you thinking of the bigger picture, not just the immediate? Sometimes we get stuck in the day-to-day grind, but this is a chance to zoom out and recognize that each moment contributes to the greater journey. In the next 30 minutes, you can choose to invest in something that will matter, something that will help you grow. Maybe it's putting down your phone to spend time reading, or setting aside time to think about the kind of person you want to become. Maybe it's starting a project you've put off, or reaching out to someone who inspires you. Maybe it's taking the first step toward a health goal you've always wanted to achieve. This isn't a magic formula for success, but the truth is, those 30 minutes, they will be gone before you know it. What you do with them matters. Every moment you choose to spend intentionally adds up. In fact, the way you use the time you have now is the foundation of who you will be in 30 years. So, take a deep breath. Think of these 30 minutes as an opportunity, not just to reflect, but to act. Decide what step you'll take right now to make the next 30 years something worth living. It might not seem like much in the moment, but in the long run, these decisions, however small, will create a future that's uniquely yours. In the grand scheme of things, 30 minutes is a drop in the ocean of time. But drops accumulate, and over the course of a lifetime, those drops shape everything. The next 30 years of your life won't be shaped by one grand decision or a single life-changing moment. Instead, it will be shaped by the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make today. Every day, you're presented with countless opportunities to decide how you'll spend your time, your energy, and your focus. Some of these choices will feel minor, deciding whether to get up early for a workout or hitting snooze for the extra sleep, whether to have a deep conversation with a friend or let the relationship fade into the background. In reality, these small decisions carry immense weight because they're the building blocks of your future. Imagine that every choice you make today is a thread, and these threads are woven together to form the fabric of your life. Over time, the thread of good habits, meaningful relationships, and intentional decisions strengthens that fabric, making it durable enough to withstand life's challenges. On the flip side, if you consistently make choices that aren't aligned with your long-term goals, it's like weaving a fabric that weakens over time, making it harder to navigate the difficulties of life. For instance, the habit of reading for just 15 minutes a day might seem trivial today, but if you stick with it for months or years, that small investment of time will compound, expanding your knowledge and enriching your perspective in ways you can't foresee. Similarly, if you choose to invest time in building connections with others, Whether through networking, deepening friendships, or nurturing your family relationships, that small choice today creates a strong support system that will be invaluable in the years ahead. In contrast, opting to ignore these seemingly small opportunities can also have a profound impact. Choosing to skip that workout just one more time may seem harmless now, but over time, it can lead to unhealthy habits that can affect your physical and mental well-being. Ignoring personal growth in favor of fleeting distractions can accumulate, leaving you feeling stuck or unfulfilled in the long run. The small choices, whether positive or negative, build momentum. Once the momentum is set, it's easier to keep going in that direction, whether you intended to or not. This is why it's so important to be intentional about the choices you make, even when they don't seem to carry much weight in the moment. Over time, these choices add up, and the person you become in 30 years will be largely a reflection of the habits, actions, and decisions you make now. Time is made up of moments. One of the most powerful realizations you can have is that time is made up of moments, not just blocks of hours, days, and years. Each day consists of hundreds, if not thousands, of small moments. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of everyday life, to fall into the trap of thinking that nothing significant happens today, that nothing today could possibly matter in the grand scheme of things. But life is a series of moments. Those small moments add up over time to create your reality. When you decide to show up and be present, whether you're working on a project, engaging with others, or simply reflecting on your life, you are making the most of your time. You're actively shaping your future. Intentionality over distraction. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, entertainment, and the constant stream of information can pull your attention away from what truly matters. It's easy to fall into the habit of checking your phone mindlessly or spending hours on activities that don't move you forward in life. Yet the time you spend distracted is time you're not spending on things that will shape your future. In these 30 minutes, you can choose to be intentional. You can turn off distractions, focus on your current task, and make decisions that align with your goals. This intentionality is what will propel you toward growth. The future doesn't just happen to you. It is built on the decisions you make each day. So, momentum builds over time. One of the most powerful forces in life is momentum. It's the principle that small, consistent actions lead to big results over time. When you make a decision to take a small action, whether it's waking up a little earlier each day, reading a few pages of a book, or starting a new habit, you're setting the stage for a positive cycle. That initial action might not feel like much, but it's the first step toward building a powerful momentum that will carry you forward. The more consistently you make small positive choices, the easier it becomes to keep making them. In the same way, negative choices can create a cycle that's harder to break. Momentum doesn't need to be a forceful push. Sometimes it's just the quiet persistence of taking small steps every day. In the long run, the positive momentum you build will have a far-reaching impact. Mindset determines direction. Your mindset plays a crucial role in shaping your future. A mindset of growth, optimism, and perseverance will set the tone for how you approach challenges and opportunities alike. When you approach life with a growth mindset, you see each day as a chance to learn, improve, and move closer to your goals. Even small setbacks or failures become opportunities for growth rather than signs of defeat. How you choose to view your circumstances, how you choose to think about your ability to create change and pursue your passions will greatly impact your future. In 30 years, you'll look back and see how your mindset shaped the course of your life. If you approach challenges with a positive attitude and a willingness to learn, you'll likely find yourself in a place where the future feels full of possibility. Focus on long-term vision. While it's easy to get bogged down in the details of day-to-day life, it's important to keep a long-term vision in mind. This long-term perspective can help you make decisions today that are aligned with the future you want to create. When you focus on where you want to be in 30 years, you're more likely to make choices that contribute to your goals rather than getting lost in temporary distractions. Having a long-term vision allows you to keep your priorities straight, ensuring that the small choices you make today are moving you in the direction of your dreams. It's not about making huge, life-altering decisions every day. It's about making the right small choices consistently. In 30 years, you'll be grateful for the moments you spent investing in yourself and your future. It's easy to get caught up in the overwhelming nature of life, to focus on the big picture and lose sight of the small, everyday moments that make up our existence. We often find ourselves thinking that the important decisions and moments in life are the ones that are dramatic, the ones that happen infrequently. Those milestones like graduation, a big promotion, or the day we move to a new city. But the truth is, life is shaped by the accumulation of smaller moments, the ones that happen daily without fanfare, and it's in these moments that our true power lies. When you look at your life, you might see it as a string of major events, but the reality is that the most significant shifts often stem from the smallest decisions. Each moment you experience carries potential, whether you're aware of it at the time or not. Those brief, seemingly inconsequential exchanges with a colleague or a stranger, a fleeting idea that pops into your head during a walk, or even a moment of frustration that leads to a breakthrough, all of these moments are the building blocks of your life. It's easy to dismiss the small moments as unimportant, to think that life is something you need to wait for to happen in big waves. But if you look closely, it's often the smallest actions that create a ripple effect. For example, you might not think that spending just 10 minutes a day reading will significantly change your life. But over the course of a year, that's almost 60 hours of reading, a deep dive into new knowledge, fresh ideas and perspectives. That small investment of time every day can shift the way you think, how you interact with others, and what opportunities come your way. It's in these moments, in the quiet hours of dedication to something seemingly small. Moments are often where change starts, whether it's a decision you make today, a conversation you have with someone who offers advice, or even the fleeting thought that crosses your mind about a new hobby or interest. These moments, when acted upon, set off a chain reaction. Think of how often you've had a small idea that led to bigger actions, whether it's trying a new hobby that eventually leads to a career shift, or a conversation that sparks a new relationship. These ripple effects are often invisible at first, but over time, they shape the trajectory of your life. In fact, sometimes it's the moments that seem like they don't matter at all that end up being the ones that shift everything. Perhaps it's a random comment someone makes that resonates with you on a deeper level, or an unplanned decision to step outside your comfort zone and try something new. But there's a catch to this: the awareness of moments. Life can feel like a blur if you're not paying attention. We often rush through our days, checking off tasks, responding to emails, going through the motions without truly experiencing the moments themselves. We live for the next event or the next big thing. The problem with this is that it robs us of the opportunities hidden in the seemingly mundane moments of life. These are the moments that, when fully experienced, hold transformative power. Being mindful of the moments you're living in is crucial. If you don't take the time to notice the small things, you might miss the subtle shifts that are occurring all around you. A simple pause, a breath, or a quiet reflection can make a world of difference. It's in these moments of presence where we often make the most important decisions, whether it's deciding to take the first step toward a new project, or deciding to pause and have a conversation with someone who can offer new insight into your life. This presence is key because the reality is that we can't wait for life to happen to us. We can't wait for the perfect moment to change our habits, to take that leap of faith, or to seize an opportunity. Often, the moments that matter most are the ones that happen when we least expect them. They come in the form of spontaneous choices that, at the time, don't seem significant at all. For instance, what if you make a small change today? What if you decide to take a different route to work, to strike up a conversation with someone you've never met, or to try something you've always wanted to do but never thought you had the time for. In that seemingly insignificant decision, you are making a small but powerful investment in your future. A new person you meet might change your life. That small idea could turn into something big, or simply by trying something new, you could discover a passion that will shape the next chapter of your life. The magic of life lies in these seemingly small moments. They are the building blocks of your future, and they often come without fanfare. It's easy to overlook them, but when you take the time to pause and reflect, you realize just how powerful each moment can be. It's not about waiting for something big to happen. It's about recognizing that every moment carries the potential to change your life. We often hear the phrase, "life is short," but that's only true if we fail to recognize the importance of each passing moment. When we slow down and begin to appreciate life's small moments, we give ourselves the space to grow, to learn, and to change. It's in these moments that we choose who we want to be, and ultimately how our future will unfold. Life is not about waiting for the big events. It's about embracing the moments, however small, that make up the big picture. And when you start to live with this mindset, you'll see how much more meaningful every moment can be. In today's fast-paced world, distraction is everywhere. The constant ping of notifications, the lure of social media, and the overwhelming demands of daily tasks can easily pull our attention away from what really matters. It's all too easy to get caught up in the noise of the present and lose sight of our long-term goals. The hours slip away one after the other, and before we know it, the day is gone. But the truth is, the time we spend, even in small increments, has the power to shape our future. The key to making that time count is intentionality. Intentionality means being deliberate with how you choose to spend your time, focusing on what will help you grow, progress, and move closer to your goals. It's about making conscious choices rather than letting the pull of distraction dictate how your day unfolds. And in a world where distractions are built into almost every aspect of our lives, intentionality becomes even more crucial. Without it, we risk getting lost in the noise of the present moment and drifting through life without any clear direction. One of the first challenges to intentionality is simply recognizing how often we get distracted. A single moment of distraction can easily lead to hours of wasted time. How many times have you sat down to work on something important, only to find yourself scrolling through your phone or checking email every few minutes? The cycle of interruption can be hard to break, but if you want to be intentional with your time, you first need to become aware of how distractions are stealing your attention. The more aware you become of where your time is going, the easier it will be to make intentional choices about where you focus your energy. Being intentional doesn't always mean making big, life-altering decisions. In fact, it's the small, everyday decisions that accumulate over time and have the most significant impact on your life. It's about recognizing that each small choice, whether it's how you spend your morning or how you allocate your time during the day, contributes to the bigger picture. For example, if your goal is to get healthier, it might not seem like a huge decision to choose to walk instead of drive for a short errand. But those small choices add up. If you make them consistently, they will help you achieve your goal of becoming healthier over time. In the same way, choosing to dedicate time to your personal growth, whether by reading, learning a new skill, or working on a passion project, will gradually move you closer to your long-term aspirations. One of the most powerful aspects of intentionality is the way it helps you prioritize what truly matters. When you are intentional about your time, you create space for the things that align with your values and long-term goals. This is especially important in a world where we are constantly pulled in different directions. We are all given the same 24 hours in a day, but how we use those hours determines the kind of life we create. By being intentional, you ensure that the time you spend is working toward your desired outcomes. The challenge, of course, is that the modern world is designed to distract us. Technology, while incredibly useful, has made it easier than ever to get pulled into a cycle of instant gratification. Social media platforms, news feeds, and entertainment apps all create a constant stream of content that competes for our attention. But here's the thing. These distractions may feel urgent in the moment, but they rarely contribute to our long-term goals. In fact, they often detract from them. This is why it's so important to actively choose where you focus your attention. Being intentional with your time means resisting the urge to give in to the distractions that don't serve you, and instead redirecting your energy to things that will help you grow. Intentionality also means creating boundaries, both for yourself and for others. It's easy to get caught up in the demands of work, family, and social obligations, leaving little time for yourself or for your goals. But if you don't set clear boundaries, you risk becoming overwhelmed and stretched too thin. By setting boundaries, you create the space you need to focus on what matters most. This might mean saying no to certain requests, limiting your time on social media, or setting specific times in your day for personal development or self-care. It's about making choices that prioritize your well-being and your long-term vision. A key part of intentional living is the ability to say no to distractions, to tasks that don't align with your goals, and to opportunities that pull you off course. Saying no can be difficult, especially when there's pressure to do more or be more. But the truth is, every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve your greater purpose, you're saying no to something that does. By learning to say no, you create the space to focus on what really matters and move toward the life you want to build. Intentionality also requires the willingness to make small changes that lead to big results over time. The truth is, most of us won't suddenly transform our lives with one bold decision or dramatic shift. Instead, it's the small, consistent actions we take each day that compound to create lasting change. Whether it's setting aside 10 minutes a day to meditate, taking a moment each morning to set clear intentions for the day, or spending a few hours a week working on a passion project, these small actions done consistently add up to big results. When you begin to live with intentionality, you'll notice a shift in how you approach life. You'll feel more focused, more productive, and more in control of your time. The distractions that once seemed urgent will start to lose their grip on you, and you'll find yourself making more progress toward your goals. It's not about trying to eliminate every distraction or be perfect with your time. It's about being conscious of how you're spending your time and making deliberate choices to use it in ways that support your vision for your life. The more intentional you are, the more empowered you become to shape your future. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. It's the subtle yet undeniable force that builds as you take action. Each choice, no matter how small, contributes to this momentum, pushing you forward toward your goals and shaping your future. It's easy to underestimate the power of a small step, especially when the destination seems far off. But over time, those small actions accumulate and create a force that's unstoppable. The key is to start, to take that first step, because even if it feels insignificant in the moment, it's the beginning of something much larger. Think about how momentum works in the context of everyday life. Imagine you're standing at the bottom of a hill, looking at the steep incline ahead. The climb may feel daunting, and you might hesitate, wondering if you're ready or if you'll ever reach the top. The moment you start, you've created momentum. That initial effort, no matter how small it seems, triggers a chain reaction that begins to carry you forward. In the same way, the choices you make in these 30 minutes, though they may feel insignificant now, are like the first step up that hill. They might not lead to immediate noticeable results, but over time, they'll compound. Think about the small daily habits that can be created in half an hour. Whether it's reading for a few minutes, starting a fitness routine, or dedicating time to work on a passion project, these may feel like small, even trivial actions, but their cumulative effect is profound. When you continue making those small choices day after day, they will propel you toward long-term success. Momentum works like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small, but as it picks up speed, it grows larger and more powerful. If you decide to start something, even if it feels like an insignificant action, it's the first spark that will ignite further progress. What often holds people back is the belief that success requires a huge leap or a massive effort up front. But in reality, the most successful people aren't those who took a giant leap all at once. They are those who took consistent, small steps over time. It's about building the habit of taking action, no matter how small it may seem. For instance, if you've been meaning to write a book, it might seem overwhelming to sit down and write 500 pages. But the first step toward that goal is simply writing one sentence, one paragraph, or one page. It doesn't matter how small the action is. It's the fact that you've taken the first step. And once you've started, the momentum begins. You'll likely find that once you've written a little, you're inspired to write a little more. Maybe the next day you write a few more pages. Eventually, what started as one small action grows into a body of work. The same principle applies to any goal, whether it's improving your health, learning a new skill, or building a business. The first small decision to act, whether it's taking a walk, watching a tutorial, or sending that first email, becomes the foundation for everything that follows. The key to building momentum is consistency. It's not about taking giant leaps, but about staying committed to making progress, even when it feels like the results aren't immediate. Momentum doesn't necessarily show up in huge jumps at first. It's often incremental, and sometimes it feels like you're barely moving. But that's the magic of momentum. It's the consistent cumulative effect of your actions over time that leads to significant change. The more you show up and take action, even if it's just for a few minutes each day, the easier it becomes to continue. One of the most important things to realize is that momentum builds not just in the tangible actions you take, but in the mindset you cultivate along the way. When you consistently show up and make an effort, even in small ways, you start to internalize the idea that progress is possible. This belief in your ability to move forward becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Each step you take creates a positive feedback loop, where your actions lead to results, which then fuel further action. Over time, this momentum becomes not just about accomplishing tasks, but about shaping your identity as someone who takes action and makes things happen. Another important aspect of momentum is its ability to carry you through challenges. In the beginning, when you're just starting out, it might feel difficult or even discouraging. The progress is slow and the results don't seem to match the effort. But as you continue, you start to gain confidence, and the momentum you've built will help you push through tough times. When you've been moving in the right direction for a while, even when setbacks occur, the momentum you've accumulated helps you recover faster and keep going. Momentum doesn't just propel you forward, it also keeps you steady when the going gets tough. Sometimes, the hardest part is simply starting. It's easy to get paralyzed by the enormity of a goal or by the fear that the results won't be immediate. But when you take that first step, you unlock a world of potential. Small decisions, when consistently acted upon, lead to progress. The more you take action, the more you build momentum, and the more powerful that momentum becomes over time. In these 30 minutes, the choice to take action, even if it's just a small one, is the spark that will propel you forward. It might not seem like much at first, but over the long haul, these small actions accumulate into something much larger. Momentum is built over time, one small decision at a time, and every step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to the life you're working toward. The key is to start and to keep going even when progress feels slow. Because in the end, it's the consistency of those small steps that will lead to extraordinary results. Your mindset is one of the most powerful influences on the course of your life. It shapes the way you perceive challenges, how you react to obstacles, and whether or not you take action toward your goals. The truth is, your mindset right now has the potential to shape not just your day, but your entire future. If you cultivate a mindset of growth, learning, and forward thinking, you'll find that your life begins to align with your aspirations. It's easy to underestimate the power of mindset, but the way you think and the way you approach each day has a ripple effect that compounds over time, influencing the next 30 years of your life. The first thing to understand about mindset is that it's not fixed. It's not something you're born with or something that's predetermined by your circumstances. Your mindset is something you can actively shape and change through intention and awareness. A fixed mindset might tell you that your abilities are limited and that failure is something to avoid at all costs. A growth mindset, on the other hand, views failure as an opportunity for learning and believes that abilities can be developed through effort and persistence. The way you view yourself and your potential directly affects your actions and ultimately your outcomes. A growth mindset isn't just about believing you can improve. It's about embracing the journey of growth, knowing that progress is a gradual process. When you adopt this mindset, you stop seeing obstacles as barriers, and instead you start seeing them as opportunities to learn. Every setback becomes a lesson, and every success, no matter how small, becomes a stepping stone to something bigger. This mindset shift changes the way you approach challenges. Instead of being discouraged when things don't go as planned, you approach the situation with curiosity and a determination to figure out what went wrong and how you can do better next time. One of the most transformative aspects of a growth mindset is the way it encourages continuous learning. When you believe that growth is possible, you begin to seek out knowledge, experiences, and feedback that will help you improve. This openness to learning becomes the foundation of your success, whether in your personal life, career, or relationships. Rather than seeing education or skill building as a one-time event, you begin to view them as an ongoing process. You start reading more, trying new things, and pushing yourself to step outside your comfort zone because you see each new experience as an opportunity to learn and grow. This mindset of learning doesn't just apply to the obvious areas of life like work or hobbies. It applies to your interactions with others and your personal development as well. When you adopt a mindset of growth, you start to view challenges in your relationships or difficult emotions as opportunities to improve your communication, patience, and empathy. Instead of reacting negatively to difficult situations, you approach them with an attitude of learning and self-reflection. Over time, this makes you more resilient and adaptable, and it strengthens your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Another essential component of a growth mindset is optimism. Optimism doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties or challenges that come your way. It's about believing that no matter how tough things get, you have the ability to overcome them. It's about seeing setbacks as temporary and always knowing that you can bounce back, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. Optimism is crucial because it sets the tone for everything you do. When you approach life with a sense of hope and confidence, even the toughest obstacles don't seem insurmountable. This optimism allows you to take risks and try new things, knowing that even if you fail, it's just part of the process of growing and improving. A forward-thinking mindset is equally powerful. Being able to see beyond the present moment and envision your future is essential for long-term success. The way you think about your future can either motivate you to take action or hold you back. If you're constantly caught up in the here and now, reacting to the immediate demands of life without thinking about where you want to be in 5, 10, or 30 years, you're unlikely to make decisions that align with your long-term goals. But if you can step back and see the bigger picture, you begin to make choices that align with your vision for the future. A forward-thinking mindset encourages you to take actions today that will help you create the life you want down the road. When you think ahead and plan with intention, you begin to make decisions that serve your long-term well-being. You start to invest in your health, relationships, and personal development, knowing that each small step you take now will compound over time. For example, choosing to exercise or eat well today might seem insignificant, but when you look at how these small actions build over the years, you realize that they contribute to your overall health and happiness. The same is true for your career or any long-term project you're working on. Taking small steps toward your goals, even when it feels like progress is slow, adds up over time. It's important to remember that your mindset is not just about how you think about yourself or your abilities. It's also about how you think about others. A mindset of collaboration and mutual growth can transform the way you interact with those around you. When you adopt an abundance mindset, you stop seeing others as competitors and start seeing them as potential collaborators, mentors, or supporters. This shift in perspective can have a profound impact on your personal and professional relationships. When you approach others with a mindset of growth and mutual support, the key to all of this is consistency. It's not enough to simply decide to have a growth mindset for one day or one week. You need to make it a habit. Every day you have the opportunity to reinforce your mindset through the choices you make and the actions you take. The more you act with purpose and optimism, the more these attitudes compound over time, shaping not just your actions, but your entire life. When you start thinking in terms of growth, learning, and forward thinking, you begin to see the world as full of possibilities, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to become better, stronger, and more resilient. The next 30 years of your life will be determined by the mindset you adopt today. If you choose to approach life with a mindset of growth, learning, and optimism, you will be amazed at how your life unfolds. The journey ahead will undoubtedly be filled with challenges, but with the right mindset, those challenges will only propel you forward. The direction you take will be shaped not by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond to what happens. And that choice starts with your mindset. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We get caught up in the whirlwind of tasks, responsibilities, and immediate concerns, and before we know it, we've spent days, weeks, or even months just reacting to the demands of the present. But while it's important to handle the tasks at hand, it's equally crucial to step back and think about where you want to be in the next 10, 20, or even 30 years. Your long-term vision serves as a compass, guiding you through the complexities of daily life and ensuring that your actions today are aligned with your goals for the future. Taking just 30 minutes to reflect on your long-term vision can have a profound impact on how you approach the rest of your life. The first thing to recognize is that life moves quickly. The years pass by faster than we realize, and if we don't have a clear vision for where we want to go, we risk getting swept up in the flow of life without making any intentional progress toward our goals. It's easy to fall into the trap of focusing solely on short-term needs, getting through the day, meeting deadlines, dealing with the next immediate problem. But when you spend too much time in the moment, you miss the opportunity to steer your life in a direction that aligns with your true desires and aspirations. Having a long-term vision is about more than just setting a few goals. It's about creating a mental map of the future you want to live. This vision should encompass all aspects of your life: your career, relationships, health, personal growth, and any other priorities that are important to you. What do you want to have achieved in the next 3 decades? Where do you want to be living? What kind of person do you want to become? What do you want your impact to be on the world? These are the kinds of questions that shape your long-term vision. When you take the time to think about where you want to be in the next 30 years, you're essentially setting the foundation for the decisions you'll make today. The choices you make now, how you spend your time, what you prioritize, and how you approach challenges are all directly influenced by the vision you hold for your future. For example, if your long-term vision includes becoming an expert in a particular field, you might choose to invest time in learning, building new skills, and seeking out opportunities that contribute to that goal. If your vision is centered around having a strong, loving family, you might prioritize building meaningful relationships and investing in your personal growth to become the best partner or parent you can be. It's easy to get stuck in the day-to-day grind and let time slip away without making meaningful progress. But by keeping your long-term vision in mind, you create a sense of purpose and direction. Even when the immediate tasks feel overwhelming or mundane, you'll have a clear understanding of why you're doing them. For example, the hours spent at work, the late nights spent studying, or the small, consistent efforts towards self-improvement may not feel like monumental achievements in the moment. But when you align them with your long-term vision, Those actions become stepping stones toward your future. It's the small intentional decisions made every day that will accumulate into significant progress over time. In order to make the most of your time, it's essential to be intentional about how you use it. While life can often feel unpredictable, your long-term vision helps you stay grounded and focused. Instead of simply reacting to life's challenges, you can proactively shape your days to align with your bigger goals. For instance, if you want to be physically healthier in the future, you might start by dedicating just 30 minutes a day to exercise. It doesn't have to be a huge transformation overnight, but the consistent effort over time will have a compound effect, leading to a healthier and stronger body as you age. Similarly, if you want to develop your professional skills, spending a little time each day learning something new can add up, leading to career advancement and personal growth over the long term. The challenge, however, is that we often overestimate what we can achieve in the short term and underestimate what we can achieve in the long term. It's easy to get frustrated when we don't see immediate results, but the truth is that long-term success is rarely about overnight changes. Instead, it's about making consistent, intentional choices every day. The 30 minutes you spend today thinking about your future will have a ripple effect throughout your life. It will inform the decisions you make, guide your actions, and provide clarity in moments of uncertainty. It's in these small, incremental decisions that the biggest changes happen. A key aspect of aligning your actions with your long-term vision is learning to say no to distractions. There will always be things that pull your attention away from your goals. Urgent tasks, new opportunities, or fleeting desires. But when you have a clear vision of where you want to go, you develop the ability to evaluate each opportunity against your long-term goals. You learn to say no to things that don't serve your vision and prioritize the things that will move you closer to where you want to be. This ability to focus on what truly matters is one of the most powerful ways to ensure that your actions are aligned with your long-term goals. It's also important to recognize that your long-term vision doesn't have to be rigid. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances may change over time. Your vision for the future should be flexible enough to evolve as you grow and learn. While it's important to have a clear direction, it's equally important to stay open to new possibilities and adjust your vision as you gain new experiences and insights. Your goals for the next 30 years may not be the same as they are today, and that's okay. What matters is that you have a vision that keeps you moving forward and that you're making intentional decisions that support that vision. The process of reflecting on your long-term vision doesn't need to be a one-time event. It's something you should revisit regularly, refining and adjusting your goals as you grow and change. These 30 minutes of reflection should be the starting point of an ongoing process of self-evaluation, goal setting, and intentional action. Every choice you make, no matter how small, will add up over time, and those small steps will eventually lead you to the life you've envisioned. In the end, your long-term vision is what will keep you grounded and motivated, even when the day-to-day grind feels overwhelming. By taking the time to reflect on your future, you can make intentional decisions today that will shape the next 30 years of your life. Each step you take now, no matter how small, is a step toward the future you want to create.